Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're tackling one of the biggest, most frustrating dilemmas we basically all deal with right now, our completely fractured attention. We're going to dive into how you can actually clear out all that digital clutter we've accumulated over the years so you can intentionally design your focus. We're going to explore some serious strategies to build rock-solid concentration habits because honestly, thoughtfully structuring how you use your screens is absolutely crucial for hitting your professional and personal goals.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty high-stakes question. Seriously, take a second and ask yourself, could you actually survive a 30-day digital reset? Like 30 whole days without your go-to scrolling apps, or those little digital comforts you reach for in line at the grocery store. It's kind of daunting, right? But hey, reclaiming your time means challenging the status quo. Sometimes, to build something way better, you've just got to be willing to start with a totally blank slate.
Which actually brings us to this incredible mindset shift straight from our source material. It says architects. Sometimes to build a better future, we need to clear out the clutter of the past. I absolutely love this metaphor. It completely changes the game. It positions you not as this passive consumer just absorbing whatever the algorithm feeds you, but as an active, intentional architect of your own life. You are the builder. And, before a builder can put up a beautiful new high-rise, they have to bulldoze the weeds and completely clear the site.
Okay, so how do we lay that new foundation? Let's get right into Section 1, Cultivating Deep Work.
Now, deep concentration, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's a highly deliberate practice. This brings us to Cal Newport's principle of deep work. It isn't just about working hard. It is about engineering periods of intense, completely uninterrupted focus. This is the exact state where true skill development happens and where you generate the absolute highest value. Think of it as building an impenetrable fortress around your attention so your brain can actually do its best thinking.
So how do we defend that fortress? Well, we purposely introduce what's called digital friction. Basically, you're making your bad habits harder to execute. You introduce home screen friction, so your biggest time waster apps aren't just one mindless tap away. You strategically organize your digital tools so they actually work for you, not against you. And look, when willpower just isn't cutting it, which happens to all of us, you bring in the heavy artillery. Utilize dedicated app and website blockers and slap on some ad blockers to literally silence those constant nagging interruptions.
Right, shifting gears a bit, let's move on to Section 2, Defining Digital Minimalism. To do this right, we have to know exactly what we are decluttering. We need to identify what digital tools are strictly optional. According to our research, optional technology is literally anything whose temporary removal would not harm or significantly disrupt your professional or personal life. Put simply, if you log out or delete an app for a month and you don't get fired or alienate your immediate family, it's optional. And you've got to be brutally honest with yourself when you're drawing that line. Now, I want to be super clear here. This struggle is completely universal. Elias Boharans pointed this out in the source material, noting that understanding our relationship with technology and actually cutting back is much easier said than done. It is incredibly uncomfortable to break these ingrained dopamine loops. So, if you find this difficult, don't worry. Recognizing that friction is just a totally normal part of the whole process.
Okay, ready for the action plan? Let's jump right into Section 3, the 30-day declutter.
Yep, 30 days. That bold number is the exact duration of Cal Newport's challenge. The goal here is to completely reset your digital baseline and actually break the cycle of constant distraction. Now, you might be wondering, why a whole month? Well, it literally takes that long for your brain chemistry to settle down, to override those deeply ingrained habits, and to finally see what your daily life feels like without the constant hum of digital noise in the background.
But here's the kicker. The true goal of this reset isn't just to sit around being unplugged. It's a three-step process. Step 1, you identify that optional tech we just talked about, the specific apps, the streaming, the video games. Step 2, you temporarily remove them for those 30 days. But step 3 is the absolute secret sauce. You have to aggressively explore higher quality activities to fill that newly vacant time. Seriously, if you just sit on your couch, staring at the wall, fighting the urge to scroll, you're going to be miserable and you won't make it.
You see, there is a massive difference between vacant digital time wasters and high-quality analog activities. Mindless browsing, endless gaming, binge watching, these are basically low-value, empty calories for your brain. By replacing those with analog activities, you're choosing things that are driven by your actual values. Whether that's reading a physical book, learning to play an instrument, or just having a deep, totally uninterrupted conversation with a friend, you are purposefully trading the artificial for the authentic.
So, what happens when those 30 days are up? Let's look at Section 4, Tech Operating Procedures.
This is where we create really clear, strict rules for the essential tech we actually have to keep using, ensuring that we control our tools instead of them controlling us. Take email, for example. You probably can't just delete it, but you can absolutely change your operating procedure. Setting a rigid rule like no emails from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. instantly carves out a protected window in your day. You use that specific time to put your head down and work on major projects without a single ping pulling you out of your deep work.
And what about all that optional stuff you're thinking about bringing back? Well, you have to interrogate every single tool with a strict minimalist screening. Ask yourself, first, does this technology serve something I deeply value? Second, is it absolutely the best way to serve this value? And third, have I outlined a clear operating procedure for exactly how and when I'll use it? If an app can't pass that 3-question test, boom, it does not get back on your device. Period.
I want to share a powerful quote that perfectly sums up the end goal here. The digital minimalist deploys technology to serve the things they find most important in their life and is happy missing out on everything else. That is the dream, right? Intentionally living out your core values and being totally fine with missing all the digital noise. Notice that word, happy. The fear of missing out is completely replaced by the joy of missing out because your attention is finally locked on to what actually matters to you.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a real, provocative challenge. Think about how your day-to-day life would change if you took action to reclaim your focus, literally right now. What optional technology will you remove today? And what higher quality analog activity are you going to replace it with? You've got the blueprint in your hands. You are the architect of your own intention. Let's clear the clutter and start building.